Well, after a frustrating transfer window with a lack of activity from our director of football, followed by a slow start to the season, which has left our job security a little perilous, we are back today for the second leg of the Asian Champions League semi final. We could be about to go to the biggest game of our career. If not, we might be looking for a new job. This game is literally job defining. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 40 of the head coach with me, Daniel. It had been plain sailing in Japan for our first 4 seasons, but this one is definitely tricky. We are closer to the bottom than the top of the table as we approach the 10th game of the year. But before we play last season's champions at home, we've got to play another big Japanese side, Vissel Kobe, and it's for a place in the Asian Champions League final. We're a goal down after the away leg, but we're still in a tie, and we did rest a few at the weekend in the league, which also cost us some points. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on today, as our top scorer is ineligible, our target man signed from Yokohama is injured again, and of course we're going to be fatigued from 2 games a week, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Get your predictions in the comments early. Do we have a chance of getting through today, or am I going to be shifting through the job centre later on to see what is possibly available? We'll find out the answer to that in good time, and of course in just 3 days we host the champions, which means we're basically giving up another league game. We can't afford to get much further away from the top because our job is no longer very secure. If we go and have a look at the club vision, we are down to a C because we had to throw the League Cup. We're miles off in a J1 league. The only prospect for success, and I would imagine saving our job, is winning this Champions League. If we can get to the final, I'll try and stay around to stick it out. But I'm not sure, even if we do, that our league form is going to allow us to stay in this role. So let's, without further ado, have a look at what's been going on through the schedule. Because it's not been ideal since you were last with me. You were with me for the first leg of the League Cup second round, where we drew 1-1 with Cerezo Osaka. We then got that late win against Yokohama, but it did mean that we had to rest players in the midweek in the League Cup, and it cost us a 2-1 defeat despite Tabakovic's late goal, more injuries up front, more players struggling with fitness and fatigue. We just didn't have enough to get through. We did though beat our other former club FC Gifu by 6-0. That was a really good performance with a Kato hat-trick, Tabakovic, Kostic and Ishida. But back-to-back defeats I'm afraid have followed because the director of football not bringing in a stronger squad, combined with a few injuries we continuously seem to have, we've just not been able to rotate enough. So we lost 2-1 at Vissel Kobe. Tabakovic got us back in the game, but honestly, it probably should have been 3 or 4. We were very fortunate in the end. We then lost 2-0 to Fukuoka, and again you can see from the team, the likes of Asada had to come in, leader at left back, Mitoma played in midfield, which is unlike him, and we also had to bring a few off the bench who wouldn't normally get a game, as well as some of those who were tired, like Araki. It made no difference, we were poor. And you look going forward now, we have got a midweek game every week up until the end of May bar 1, and if we do somehow make it to the Asian Champions League final, that will officially then become every week. So we have played a midweek game every single week for the last 3 months if we get to the final, and that will be the defining moment with the lack of transfer activity alongside it. So as we approach the end of the European season, I'm keeping an eye on what jobs are popping up. I have applied for 1 already, and I'm looking at 1 or 2 more now. So the likes of Genoa, who may be just a bit too big a reputation for us, but are there other options we have to consider taking? Perhaps we'll have to go slightly lower than we'd intended. Austria Vienna again, great opportunity in a country where we can get a club into European football and maybe compete on that continental front again. It's going to be a different route to the top to what we've seen in previous years, but I feel if we outstay our welcome here, we might not get a step up and we might have to work our way back up in Japan again, which I don't want to do. I want to take advantage of the coaching badges, of the fact that we've played continental football now, but can we go one better? If we get to the final, people will stand up and take notice. We're playing against a 4-2-3-1 from Vissel Kobe. We've got almost a sold-out stadium, I think for the first time since I've been here. And we're going to have to make a lot of changes because This is the team that played at the weekend. Backup defenders, backup midfielders, and not a lot of quality. Add the fact that at the weekend we didn't even have a target man fully fit, so played with 2 advanced forwards up there. It was all a little bit of a mess and it's all a bit imbalanced. You can see that the match loads are heavy. It probably will catch up with us tonight. But let's go and get our best possible team picks. We've got the good news that Zaruki is fit enough to be involved for the first time in a long while. But Sakaragawa probably not going to make it. And overall, we're just not strong enough. We'll be back in a minute to run through the 11. Right then, I've had to take a bit of a gamble today because Kostic needs to play left wing back due to the fatigue and injuries for Rui Leader. Sakaragawa's out, so Tabakovic has got to play. Ishida's in because of Kato being out. We're a bit short up front. And that means I've had to drop out Hainan due to the 5 foreign player ruling. We do have to stick with Kostic. Zaruki is back in and Ademphal is crucial at centre half. So these are the 5 we've gone for. Yasuda plays in the middle despite not being happy or in great form. And Ishida up front has only scored once since returning from his early season injury. So there are some worries here, there's no doubt about that. We are very much second favourites. I've also swapped the sub-keepers due to there not being a homegrown ruling in this competition. Hidaka much more consistent than Noguchi, even if he's not rated better than him. But the team in full for today's game is Bergson in goal. Wada, Adenthal and Watanabe the back 3 with Kostic and Handa the wing backs. We've got Yasuda and Zaruki the midfield 2, Araki the number 10, and then Tabakovic and Ishida the 2 up front. And we need this partnership to deliver. We are 2-1 down on aggregate after the away leg, which is a miracle given how the game panned out. If we can find a way to get through here, it will give me something to cling on to, and it will give the fans something to get behind me for, because otherwise our job's in jeopardy. We're mid-table in the league when a top 2 finish was the expectation. We've got a weaker squad than last season, which is hilarious. And we've not addressed the problems in the squad. But we're still in with a shout for a place in the final against either Al Ittihad or Al Ahly. With 15 minutes gone, it's been a quiet game. And it's much the same as the first leg, albeit without the Vissel Kobe dominance. We just couldn't really create anything. We were lucky to get a goal in that one. In this one, we've not got our best striker available. We've not got our target man available fit on the bench. It's only really Suzuki who can save the day as Ishida picks it up in the middle. Can he produce a miraculous moment? He's still going here. Down the right he goes. He's beaten 4 or 5. Gets it into Tabakovic. Oh, Ryota Ishida take a bow. What a run. As it stands, we're going through on away goals. I mean, we're not keeping a clean sheet here. I'm pretty sure of that. There's not much evidence this season to suggest a clean sheet is forthcoming against any top half side. But what an effort this would be. We've been dismal in domestic football. We've not coped with the fixture congestion. But I prioritise this competition purely on the basis that continental football can open eyes up to the world. And if we get to the final, maybe it will help us push on and get a job back in our home continent. As Zaruki on the right-hand side, got to be wary of him. He can't do the full game. Obviously, the best sub isn't available. As Tabakovic is in again. It's a good block for a corner. I mean, ultimately, a second goal doesn't really change the scenario for us. Only that we won't then go out if we concede. We'll go to extra time. As Ademphal heads in, it's straight at the keeper. A clean sheet and we're through. Do I risk Zaruki for the 90 minutes and just give up on the weekend? Do I hope that he doesn't get injured again? What do I do? As Kostic has got a throw on the left to Yasuda. Delivers early. Handa's in there, but it's nowhere near him. Out as far as Zaruki. Down the right. Can he produce a moment of magic? No, he gives the ball away. But it's only cleared as far as Handa. Very wide for an inverted wing back there. Though Yasuda picks it up again. Running down the left is Kostic. We know he's got good delivery. Will he need it? No, he doesn't. He's gone for the shot. And it takes a little deflection off the defender on its way in. Where has this performance come from? I have been tearing my hair out for ages. And we finally delivering a performance. But can we do it for the extra half an hour? Because the problem we've seen this season is that late on we just run out of steam. But at the moment, we're doing something, I'll be honest, I thought was well beyond possible. Because we have been shocking for the most part. As Handa gets the ball to Ishida, this game should have been out of sight in the first leg, and it might well be now because we've given it away all that work Ashida did for our first goal. And he's given him a great chance now. Caprini's in. Great save by Bergson. Get in there, son. He's a brilliant goalkeeper. And at the moment, he's had to save us more than we expect. So Sugioka corner for the visitors. Was he the man who got the own goal? Doesn't matter now. His corner is in and it's headed in by Goto. 2-1 on the night, and you know what that means. Extra time is coming. Possibly the worst scenario for us because we'd be second favourites. And even more important than that, as another one's tipped over for us, is that we'll then be knackered for the weekend and lose another league game. We've got 15 to go. I can't stick with Zaruki any longer. He's absolutely done. I'm going to have to bring on Mitoma, I think. Tabakovic is done as well. Suzuki's the only one fit. He'll come on there. We're going to go either Araki in the middle. I tell you what, we'll go Mitoma on for Zaruki. Made the wrong sub there. Mitoma for Zaruki. We'll go Araki box to box. Yasuda number 10. And Mitoma deep line, I think. That's probably the best way to do this. There aren't many alternatives about. And Handa's nervous at right wing back, so it might have to be a Garber even. And we'll put Mitoma out there. I think you can see that on the squad front we're a little bit light here, aren't we? Let's just have a look at the personalities, because Matt Swo is another option. He's great going forward, but he offers nothing defensively. And we are going to need that in this game. So I'm going to make those 3 subs and stick with it. Araki's not having a good game, but he's just going to have to play. Because it's been a good performance. We fought hard. But it looks like it might be a valiant defeat. Can we produce that one moment? If we go to extra time, we're done. Mitoma's got to save us now. Running forward to Suzuki. Oh, the old school hero. He's offside. He blazes over. He almost produced a moment. As with 2 to go, I am now going to do it, I think. We'll go Kostic off for leader. We'll go Matsuo on for Araki. And then we'll go back to a midfield that looks a bit more like that. It's not ideal, is it? But we're going to have to live with it. 2 minutes plus stoppage time. There's 5 added on. And it looks like if anyone's going to nick it late, it's them. No, we've won it back on halfway. Agawa flies through a challenge. Brilliant from him. And now he's away down the right. Who's going to be the unlikely hero? Mitoma towards Agawa. Go on, son. Agawa in. Suzuki! What a story! You get that cartwheel out, son. Who am I to interrupt it? Oh, my word. Agawa, the sub, is the worst player on the pitch. But he's got endeavour. He's got composure. It's the one thing he's got. And the vision was there. Oh, I want to call it an inspired sub, but it's lucky, trust me. But what a story for Yuma Suzuki. Homegrown at the club now at 31. It's his birthday next week. He's played nearly 300 league games for the club. And you know what? He's not great anymore. He's the 4th or 5th best striker at the club. But when the big moments come, my word does he deliver. He scored a big penalty to get us a result earlier in the year. He stepped up when it matters most. And now he's about to be the hero. Please do not let us concede from here because this is magic. I had no idea this was possible, and I'm starting to question where these performances have been the rest of the time. But it might even make that defeat at the weekend worth it, because we were so poor against Fukuoka with a very rotated side, and Agawa was abysmal in that game. But he's the hero now, alongside Suzuki. Not even 5 years into my career here, we are in a Champions League final in Asia. How different is this to the struggle of Welsh and English lower league football? What an event. What a performance. Now let this be a building block. Don't let us fall backwards again, because we're going to have to rest most of this team at the weekend. Lord knows when the final's going to be scheduled. And Lord knows what superstars are at whatever Saudi club we face. Is that Heung-min Son? Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Let's go through to the schedule and have a look at when that game's going to be. We've brought more money into the club for them to not spend to help me with the squad. 240 grand in total. Out early on Saturday the 6th of May. It's not going to be long before the next episode, folks. What a first trophy that would be to win if we could do it. Out early sports club in Saudi Arabia. They have got, it must have been Heung-min Son, it is. He's 35 now. He's still pretty good though, isn't he? 5-star ability by our team's reputation. Ruben Neves is still there after 3 years at Al Hilal. He is unbelievable at 31. John Stones is at centre-half for them at 33. Still very good. Mentally, he's exceptional. Virgil van Dijk is his centre-half partner. Oh, wow. This is something, isn't it? I don't think Stones is registered for the Champions League. Jose Gaia definitely is, and he's not bad, is he? I mean, this is literally ridiculous. Their team is so good that John Stones, being paid 1.3 million a week, can't get into it. And we've just relied on a member of our youth academy who is, let's be honest, very average to bail us out right at the end there. Magic. What a game it's going to be. What a next episode it's going to be. The day before my real life birthday as well. Oh, it's 2 legs. Oh, right, okay. Now, you know what the problem with that is, don't you? We've got the league leaders before it. We've got a big game in the middle against the side above. We're going to have to throw another 2 league games, but surely they'll forgive me and give me some leeway if we win the Champions League. I mean, Al Ahly are going to be very tough opposition, but that's some achievement in this save. I cannot wait for that in the next episode. But before we go today, we've got one more event to get through, haven't we? We've only got to play the champions, Kawasaki, at home. They've not had the best start either, but they're going to be a bit more refreshed than us when we get to the weekend. That game is in just 3 days' time. Let's go and see who's fit. Well, as we return for fitness test time, we are going to have to be very careful with judging the next week because we play the champions today and we'll find out who's fit in a minute. We then got 4 days off before we play second bottom Kashima, who are actually a good side, but have just sacked a manager after a poor start. Then we've got high flying and high quality Arawa Reds the following weekend. And of course, you all know now what's happening the weekend after that, as we face the league leaders in between those two. So I don't know what to go for here. My instinct is telling me, play your strongest squad if it's available, and then rest a few in midweek if you need be. Now, I know a few of you might criticise the fatigue and whatever in the squad. I am doing everything possible to mitigate it, other than rotating fully and throwing away games as we had to against Fukuoka. If I show you my rest schedule, because I've done videos showing what I do here before, this is more intense than I've ever done it. To have this third one on no work rather than half intensity is beyond anything I'd normally do. So basically, unless players are almost back to fitness in time, they're just not training at the minute. They're doing the tactical stuff and that is literally it. So let's go and get through to the squad today and hope it pays off. I think the lads are cohesive and know our shape by now, so it is literally just about the physical side. It looks like everyone's near enough fit, but there's a couple of places where we are going to have to adjust. I'm not going to risk Saruki twice in a week from the start. I might put him on the bench, but otherwise we're going to go fairly strong. We'll be back in a minute to run through the team. Well, for the first time in a long time, we're not having to put people who are of no interest to this club on the bench. So Matsuo drops out of the squad. Toyoda is back out as well. Kostic has had to drop out as I manage the foreign players' workload. And Sakaragawa still not fit. Subkeeper switches due to the homegrown rules. But I've made a couple of changes to the 11. Kostic out means Rui Leader in. But he is the best trainer at the club and he's returning from injury. So without making a squad worse, we've got someone with a light match load in. And as much as I like to start Saruki, and his match load's okay, I don't want to risk him breaking down again because he's already had 2 4-week injuries this year. So Hainan comes in for this one. The rest of the squad is very similar. Ishida stays in because he was magnificent in that game. And Kato will make do with a place on the bench. But at last, we've got a bit of firepower in the squad. Suzuki, the hero of the last game off the bench, he's there for another tap in if we need it. So 2 changes in full. Leader and Hainan in. 1 enforced, one of them improving us a little bit. But let's see how we get on in this one. We're hosting the champions Kawasaki. And if we can take a bit of that momentum from midweek, I'll be a happy man. But in truth, we've got a knackered back 3. They've got a fresh side, 3 changes and some good foreign players in there. It could go just as wrong as it could right. They are the best side in the league on paper. So let's see how we get on in this one. Well, 20 minutes gone, and it had been a steady start, if not a spectacular one, but it has fallen down now because, as you can see, we have got a bit of a problem with injury for Tabakovic. Just as Sakaraga was coming back, he's now going to be out. I'm going to bring on, do I go Suzuki? Because the other lads are only 5'10", Suzuki is 6 foot. He has always scored when it matters. I'm going to go for it, I think. The fans obviously agree with me that the Champions League is the big one. It was sold out for that. Here, we've only got 27,000 in. But it's been an even start. It's been an okay performance. And again, early in the season, I might have said I'll take a point. But after dropping so many and actually having a fully fit team today, I feel we've got to have a go. The good news is we've got Kashiwa and Machida coming up. Both of them really struggling. But this is the problem. 2 games a week just means we keep falling apart. We've not got a big enough squad to cope with this. Wader's now off injured, and Asada, I mean this with the greatest of respect. Wader, very good, experienced centre-half. Asada, I'll bring him up. It's a very different level of footballer, isn't it? We're going from probably a top half championship player to maybe a bottom half League One, maybe even League Two when you look at the technical stats. This isn't good. And it's a real problem that we've had to contend with all year. And it's one we wouldn't have had to worry about if our director of football had done his job in the summer. This is a really big problem for me. And I tell you what, if we do win the Champions League, if we do end up staying here for a bit, they really better get some players in because we cannot cope with the match load. And imagine if we got through in the League Cup. Imagine if we'd gone strong. As it is, we've got to worry about a point here as Asada heads the corner away. And now we've got a man over. Can we get it clear? Ishida half away. Hainan closes down. It falls for Tanaka though. Almost in. You know it's not going to be a day when Thunderbolts are going close. Let's see if one ends up in the back of the net as it's a goal kick for Kawasaki. Well won by Leader. Suzuki forward but just lost out did Araki. It's going to be cleared away. Big ball over the top. Asada's there. Can he show his composure? He does okay. Yasuda with a lovely turn. He's on a booking though. We've got to watch him. Leader down the left. Big ball over the top. Hainan's making the run. Headed away. We can't get there first. They just look a little fresher to the second ball. And that's a worry for me. But that is a massive help. Minato has flown in on Handa. And as long as he's not injured as well, that's a big moment for us because it's a red card, deservedly so. And with 25 to go, we're going to go for it now. Let's worry about the fatigue legs because Yasuda's on a yellow. Let's not let them even it up. Zaruki will come on for him. We're going to bring Araki off for Agawa, the hero in midweek. And Kato, the goal scorer, is going to be on for Ishida, who has struggled physically today. 25 to go. We've got the chance to get on top now with a man advantage. Yes, we've had injuries galore. But please let this be the one. As Kawasaki are the team on the attack again. Ademphal heads clear to Leader. Can we hit them on the break? Because they've committed a few forward. Asada at the back. We're still patient here. We're not playing short football or anything, but you can see the passing directness is standard. They're just keeping it for the sake of it. Maybe it's a lack of confidence as Ademphal finds Handa. Up to Watanabe. Now Handa again. Trying to cut in from that right-hand side. Finds a good ball for Hainan. Has support. Suzuki's in. Not again. Yuki Suzuki. Not even got his name right. Yuma Suzuki. This is some story. What a player. The worst of the 5 strikers at the club on paper. But delivers every time. I love this guy. He's delivering in all the big moments. And he puts us 1-0 up here. I'm just questioning whether I switch Zaruki and Hainan round, which I'm going to. But that is a magical moment. For the second game in a row, Yuma Suzuki, the homegrown star who's still here at 31, might have just won us 2 games in a row and 2 of the biggest ones of the season to get to a Champions League final and maybe beat the champions. As Agawa goes in, is that a penalty? Referee, don't bottle it. Watanabe forward to Kato, off the bench. Poor ball back to Watanabe again, but he makes something of it. Is Kato onside? His shot's tipped onto the bar. But the flag does eventually go up. No idea why he didn't do that the first time. But since the red card, we're dominant. We're on the front foot. But I'm still wary of this fatigue defence. Please let us have a second to relax as Leader nicks it from a throw-in high up the pitch. Agawa on the edge. Be a hero again. Oh, just wide. Almost did it again. Set up that goal for Suzuki in stoppage time in midweek. And this time out, not quite there. There's 4 minutes added on. And you're going to have to forgive me because I'm doing the same again. Wing-backs onto defensive duties. 2 deep line playmakers. I am not throwing this away. We have got big results in the circumstances. The performance in the first game was exceptional. In this one, do you know what? We've competed. We've done enough. And we're going to deserve these 3 points. 1 minute of stoppage time to go. It is a massive 1-0 win against the champions. And I am feeling about 100 times better than I did at the beginning of this episode. What a way to go into Christmas in the head coach. We're back up in the continental spots. We're in the final of the Champions League, and we're 2 games in hand. We're 10 points off the top. The big problem, though, is half the team got injured today. So before I get too excited and reflect on when we're going to be back for the final, let's go and see how bad the injuries are. Wader is out for 4 to 5 weeks. We'll miss the Champions League final. Asada is going to have to start it. Tabakovic out for 4 weeks. Please let Sakuragawa be fit by the time we get there. Oh, it can never just be a good episode, can it? It's all come crashing back down, realising that 2 key players are going to be out. 2 33-year-olds that couldn't cope with a match load. But we've got nothing else in the squad. Let's go and have a look at the schedule because there's only going to be 3 games between now and the next episode. We will return for the 2-legged Champions League final. Who thought we were going to be playing in this 5 years into a head coach save? Normally, we're barely breaking through to professional contracts and professional ranks. And here, we're managing the biggest game in Asian football. I'm very proud of that performance in the second leg. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't see it coming after the last few performances. But what a team, what a moment, and what a game after it as well. 2 very different performances, but 2 outstanding results. And now we've got to patch what's left together of this squad and get a good team out for the Champions League final while still competing in the league as well. It should have helped us out a little bit because we're now back to satisfied in the J1 league expectations. But still a C rating with 3 defeats between now and the cup final. We could well be back in dangerous territory when it comes to our job security. If you enjoyed this one though, 2 monumental efforts from the team, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It is the final episode before Christmas, as I mentioned, so we're going to have something a little special on Christmas Day. We're going to have a longer stream on Twitch on Boxing Day, but I'll leave the video here because, do you know what, there's loads of football to watch, so enjoy that instead. And then we will be back with this save on the 27th of December. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, including tomorrow's Christmas Eve special from our Southend United save, and please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be busy on the podcast over the festive period and on Twitch as well. You can find both of those links up in the eye above. But thank you very much for watching, for being a 12th man today, because that was a really strong effort and I don't have a clue where it came from. Back on track with Kashima Antlers, but loads of injuries, a very small squad. Can we deliver when it matters most? I'll see you next time for a Champions League final.